Hello and good day to you, my beautiful friends. I do hope you are well. Welcome to episode 81 of CrossButton VR, our journey into the world of VR. I'm your host, Laurie, and it is an honor to be joined by two of the most professional influencers in the metaverse. It's Alex and Reece. Hello. And a bit of foreshadowing there for what we're going to be talking about in a minute.
Okay.
Oh, yes. See what we've done there? Yeah, so you two, I feel you are quite professional.
Try to be.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Reece especially. Alex.
Me not so much, no, but professional's boring.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You're kind of professional in your day job, Alex, aren't you? So you have to come on and let loose.
That's why he lets loose. Makes sense now.
So,
yeah.
Let's let it all go.
Everyone can strap in and get ready for another episode.
You said you weren't going to mention it.
Sorry, it was just a slip of the tongue.
Yeah.
Well, hey.
It just slipped right in there.
God. Okay, quickly, let's move on. So yeah, lots to talk about again this week. It's been a bit of a big news in the world of PlayStation. But before we get to that, if people would like to support us, please do give this podcast a sub on the service you're listening to us on. If you're watching on YouTube, please hit the like and subscribe buttons and leave a comment too. It's always nice when we get the comments. We got some nice comments this week, didn't we, guys? Got one person commenting, "This channel is great. Please keep up the great work and enthusiasm for VR." So that made me feel good. And then I kept on reading. Next comment: "This channel is terrible."
I mean,
okay.
Was it not us? Was it not us channel?
That's just Chanel. And that's Chanel. Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, number 5 just doesn't work for me either. So.
Hey, you got featured in the episode, so at least your comment worked out for you.
Yeah, well done, Steve. But yes, please do subscribe. That's always helpful. And you can follow us on Twitter at CrossButton VR. And if you can't get enough of listening to Alex, you can tune into the Mimics Fail every week on a Thursday. I'm getting the hang of this. And if you can't get enough of Reece, you can follow his YouTube channel at Games with T, where he is endeavouring to review every single PSVR 2 game.
Yeah, that one's kind of...
So you still doing that? You're not doing it anymore?
Yeah, it's waving out a little bit now.
Okay.
It's too many. As soon as I got the other 2 headsets, I was like, yeah, that's going to have to calm back.
Okay. Well, I have to review everything.
Other 2 headsets? So what other one did you get?
I mean, not other 2 headsets, the other 2 platforms, sorry, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I was going to say.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's the Labo VR, is that still one?
I still love the PSVR 2 though, and I love playing the games on there, as we will discuss today.
Yes, well, good. Well, let's talk about the PS5 Pro then, which was revealed this week. We knew it was coming. We'd heard it was coming. That didn't mean we weren't surprised by some aspects of it.
Yeah.
Namely, the price, which is the thing that people can't really get over. And rightly so, because it's fucking expensive.
Yeah, it's a luxury buy, isn't it? Definitely.
It's definitely. It's definitely a sense of Sony's like, fuck it, we have no more competition anymore because Xbox aren't going to do a mid-gen upgrade. So we literally have that market to themselves, that high-end mid-gen upgrade console cycle. That's Sony like, fuck it, we'll just charge what we want to it because people will have no choice. And I feel like if the Xbox were doing one, because you'd have lots of people that bought a PS5 and then be like, well, I've already got the PS5, so it makes more sense to get the upgraded Xbox, so I'll do that. I play multi-platform games over there, plus all this stuff that's coming to Xbox. But now everyone's like, well, nothing's really, no reason to, but there isn't one on Xbox. So those people that are willing to pay the price will just stump up and will pony up to Sony.
They will. They absolutely will, but it's...
Pony up. Good one.
You like that, did you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still don't like the price.
No one likes the price, Reece. Nobody likes the price, apart from the Sony shareholders. They're probably quite impressed. Like, nice.
You do have to wonder, though, like, is this that lack of competition, or is this just how much this is costing them to make it, and we're getting to a stage where no longer are we going to subsidise these consoles? Because it feels like that's the stage we're getting to rather than anything, because Xbox have done the same with this 2 terabyte Series X is coming out, and that's what, $549, I think. So it's more expensive than, well, obviously it's more expensive than the base Series X, but when you look at the price of that to the PS5 Pro, you're just like, because this is a sign of things to come. Like, these consoles are getting more and more advanced. They're getting, I mean, I think a lot of people have compared the price back to the PS4 to the PS4 Pro. I think in terms of the power here, it's a much bigger jump in terms of what they're trying to do, and then adding the pisser in or whatever we want to call it. Like, it's, yeah.
Sure.
Pisser.
Sure.
Yeah, it's
Pisser.
pisser. Everyone should be calling it pisser, and if they don't, I'm going to be disappointed. I've already noticed a few people calling it pisser. Yeah,
I
I mean,
go on. I was going to say, I think I agree with Alex here, because obviously I was one of the people that did the upgrade last time with the PS4. I went from the PS4 to the PS4 Pro. That was namely because I got a really good deal when doing it. They did an offer where you traded in your PS4 and you got, I think I got the God of War limited edition PS4 Pro with the game that I was going to buy, and I only had to pay an extra £120 or £150. And that just made sense. But with this at the moment, I don't think it's going to be for me. Even with the upgrades that they are, like we have read into with the PSVR, I just don't think it's going to be something I'm going to be jumping on. Not yet. I won't say never, because I might eventually pick it up on a whim, but we'll see.
Yeah, I think there's a lot to what you're saying, Alex, about hardware is costing a lot more these days. It's not a situation where a gen would start and then over the space of the generation, prices of technology and components would come down, and then they could release a revised, cheaper model where they could just cut the price. The Switch has never received a price cut. The PS5 has gone up in price in the 4 years it's been on the market. So I think people are like, oh my God, that is an egregious price. But I don't want to defend Sony here because it's a ridiculous price. But at the same time, if they can say, well, that's how much the stuff we're putting in it costs to manufacture it, we're not getting. It'd be interesting to know what the margin is on it. I'm sure it'd be higher than what it is on the base PS5, but it's probably not that much higher. Because like you say, you're getting a 2 terabyte hard drive base versus the 800 gig one on the base model, so you get a big upgrade there in storage, which would save people. Well, what are those SSDs and the heatsinks cost? Like 100, 150 quid?
You can get one probably about 50, 60 now. Like the price of them has come down over time.
Okay.
I guess but you find the ones the actual ones and the PS5 themselves, like because they're so custom made, like they work faster. So probably if you're looking at the specification to what's in there, you're probably near that kind of price point.
Yeah. They say that, don't they?
I think they've not done a good job yet of showing why. I think they need to. Yeah, they've had a few trailers with that 1 10-minute video with a few little clips here. I think people need to see the difference of it, and hopefully it will make people more comfortable of the justification for why this is worth getting. Because when they just like zoom in right on the crowd sizes of Ratchet and Clank, and you're like, I mean, the crowds looked amazing in that game already to me. You have to really, they've got to do a better job than trying to zoom in on some minute details that you're never going to look at. It just needs to be more like, combat is smoother and the gameplay is better as a result of this, because we can do everything in 60 frames. Because, for me personally, the appeal for me is I'm playing Final Fantasy Rebirth at the moment, or I was until Chernobyl came along. I'm playing it at 30 because in the fidelity, in the the performance mode where it's at 60 frames per second, it looks really fuzzy. It looks terrible. So I think, well, I'll play it in fidelity mode, and that's in 30 frames per second, and it's really jerky. So neither of them look good. Both options look bad to me in one way or another. So, if Sony can say, look, you can play games that look brilliant and they'll just be a lot more responsive and smoother and feel nicer to play, then that's what I want to see in action.
Yeah. I mean, they did do a terrible job of the games they showed off here. Like, it's not the ones that people wanted to see. Like, Hogwarts is kind of been and gone. Like, your Ratchet and Clank's not the kind of thing that's going to show this up. And I think when you get creepy Uncle Mark like presenting it to you as well, it's just a bit like it's a hard sell. Like, it really is a hard sell.
Mark Cerny, by the way, not Smark.
Not actual Alex's creepy Uncle Mark. It was Mark Cerny.
It was a really weird way to do it, and I think the way they started off, the presentation itself was odd, and it was a bit like, oh, this is what we've done with the PS5, and then you kind of merged into the PS5 Pro, and it's just a bit like, this is one, like, if you're going to go out and hit someone with a price that's this bad and show it off so badly in terms of the advantages, this is one they should have just done as a blog post. We give them so many things of saying, don't just do that as a blog post, and I feel like this one, in the way they done it, they would have been better just doing it as a blog post.
And like, they are making God of War 2 or Last of Us, whatever. All they're shooting are making something, and they've got this weird secrecy about it. But if they'd have just said, in the end of that thing, with even just like a cinematic teaser trailer, and they could have said God of War 2, or not God of War, so Ghost of Tsushima 2, you could be able to play it on the PS5 Pro, and it will look absolutely stunning, and it'll run at 60 frames per second, and here's a little CGI teaser for it. People will be like, wow, okay, now I've got something to be excited for, a reason to get it. But and I don't know why they are making these games. Like, at some point you're going to have to tell people about them. so that would have been a great chance to just drop one of them alongside that price, just to get people to think, okay, that's a lot of money, but I fucking love this ecosystem because I love Ghost of Tsushima and I'm definitely going to play it and I want to play it. It's best. So it's just anything, just give people something to latch onto. They're just weirdly, I don't know, it's that arrogant, that kind of that horrible Sony arrogance. It's like, yeah, we don't need to tell you what we're working on. We're never going to buy it, you bitches.
You love whatever we make. You're going to take this. It's like,
Yeah,
okay,
and
you're
I mean,
right.
yeah, they're right. So people will buy it, and there's a rumored state of play in a couple of weeks. So I mean, hopefully, they can reveal.
I'm sure
something at
they'll
that point.
mention some PSVR2 games there, right?
But
Of
And
course.
as the response I expected, just silence from both of you for a complete second. That's what I was hoping for.
we're getting into the second half of the PS5's lifestyle. These games will have to arrive at some point. They're not going to do an entire generation with no new Naughty Dog or Sucker Punch or whoever game. Like, surely if Insomniac, and they've already released 3 games this gen, haven't they? Surely
And
someone
they've
else
still
is going
got
to release something.
Wolverine to come.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
that's true. I mean, they could have shown that. People know it's happening, so they could have shown that, couldn't they? They could have said, okay, this is a little bit of early
Yeah,
gameplay.
that's already fucking leaked anyway.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it wasn't shown in the way we'd all like to see it, but at the same point, it's like, surely there must be something now with some reputable gameplay they could have used to say this is the PS5 Pro's capabilities. But I get what you mean. Like, as soon as I saw them showcase like The Last of Us, I'm like, cool, a game I absolutely love, but I've seen it a million times. And it was just stuff I didn't need to see because they would look good as they are on the PS5. Like, I don't need to see them upscaled anymore. They look great.
Yeah, they've already been upscaled significantly when they first
Too
came
many
out.
times.
Like,
Yeah,
don't
exactly.
need to upscale it again, for Christ's sake, guys. Just leave that game to die. It's like a clicker that just won't be put down. Yeah, but I'm not going to play Ratchet & Clank again. I'm not going to play Horizon Forbidden West or Last of Us 2. I want to play Last of Us 3 on it. And show me that, for Christ's sake. You're making it. So we know you're making it. So just don't. It's just why be so weirdly secretive about it and stuff. And they will have first-party games that will come out next year. So tell us it now when you're launching the new hardware. If you're not going to have anything ready at launch, then at least tell us what we can play next year on it, just so it's not that long to wait. It's just they're getting weird now. How we don't know any VR games they're making. We don't know any non-VR games they're making outside of Wolverine, and that's just a weird thing. They're just that arrogance. They're going to go into a Christmas season knowing they're going to outsell everyone else, and it's just a lack of competition thing. I think they just know that people will buy the boxes, whatever. So why take the risk by showing their hand too early? It's safer from their point to not tell people about stuff until it's absolutely ready to be seen. So annoying.
Yeah.
But to bring this closer to the point of this podcast, I suppose, VR, you mentioned, Reece, that this is going to have some impact on VR. And this mainly comes down to the PSSR, the PSSR, which when PS5 Pro comes out at launch, it will automatically do something to AI enhance all of the resolution of everything. Won't do VR games at launch. It's been promised. There was an article on CNET saying it will come in a future firmware update, which will then apply to all VR games, but there's no timeline given. So it'll probably happen in like 2 years, knowing Sony and their love for VR.
Yeah.
But hopefully it won't be too long to wait, and then there'll be a patch that'll be pushed that will enhance every VR game. And that is quite exciting because some games do look a bit soft and blurry, and if you can use the AI to enhance it, that would be cool. And what developers may also do, if they can patch their games, they can upgrade it from 60 to 90 frames per second. So because there'll be that fast GPU that will let them do that. So it'll be a bit of work on their part, but you can imagine, well, I have no idea actually how hard it will be, but you'd like to think a lot of developers would go on and do that and maybe do some PS5 Pro wider patches as well, just to add in some extra effects. Who knows?
And I suppose that's all going to come down to conversion rates and how many people are actually going to buy these things, because how worthwhile is it going to be for these developers to spend the time on patching the things when it might be like 4 people that's playing it? And that's, I know I'm absolutely exaggerating, but like, it's you're not going to have huge numbers buying this thing at £700 like without a disk drive.
Yeah, it's a niche. It's a niche of a niche, isn't it? The Venn diagram of VR people and the people willing to buy PS5 Pro. But I suppose the people that are buying VR are quite committed into the ecosystem of Sony, the fact that they're in this thing in the first place, as opposed to a Quest. So, yeah, I mean, it's suckers like me that are like, yeah, go on there. And I think, at least on my part, I've got a huge digital library on VR. I don't own any physical games. I've got probably close to 100 VR games now, all digital. The need for disk drive is less, I suppose, than it might have been once upon a time. So we'll see. Maybe I'll live without that at launch. But that's what I've been doing. I think if I trade that in, that's like I can trade in the PS5 and maybe get 200, 250 for it. And then if I sell a kidney, there'll be some bit extra money there. And
Don't do it, Laurie. Don't bleed into Sony's ecosystem any more than you already have done.
There's no hope for me now, Reece.
Yeah.
I mean, an absolute turn up for the book. So I was very much like, this price is like, no, right, absolutely not. And I was sitting at dinner last night, and my husband was trying to talk me into getting it. He's like, but that's what. It's
I
like,
told you get one, man. I told you.
It's
you
like,
would.
but that's what you wanted, and it's going to be your birthday, and it's coming out just before your birthday, and that's what you always said you wanted for your birthday. Will you get it? If you don't get it, I'm like, but I can't justify that price.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
To be fair, I was expecting it to be about £500-600. It's £700.
Yeah.
I'm like, that is more than I want to pay, but it's just £100. I waste £100 on stuff all the time. Alex fucking does. He spends £100 on Lego every day. Like, all he's got to do is just not buy. He fucking knows it.
That's my Lego budget for the month. God.
Exactly. Just don't buy Lego this month, and there's your money for the PS5.
The man has a Lego budget. That's how you know.
But I mean, that's the difference in cost. And I think like, I'm going to have this thing for like 4 years.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you'll get the worth out of it. I think, like, especially if you're getting rid of your other PS5, you're going to get the worth out of it. It's not that you won't get that, but at the same point, I think it's like Alex said, it's the justification of knowing you're having to spend £700 on something that may not really benefit you when you're playing the games you want to play, or you may not notice those extra benefits that some people might.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's going to work on Assassin's Creed Shadows and Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. So that's for me. There's two. Rebirth is, I don't like playing it because of its limitations and stuff. So that will be instantly a good reason for me to continue playing that game. I'm about, I don't know, 20 odd hours into it, which sounds a lot, but it's not. That game's fucking massive. And I will probably put 100 hours into Assassin's Creed Shadows when that launches over the following 3 or 4 months that comes out. So, yeah, and then maybe by that point, Sony will get around to releasing. Who knows?
Yeah, I think I'll hold off for now. But like I said, I'm pretty sure I'll be swayed at some point to go, yeah, might as well.
But anyway, I like the fact is if hopefully that firmware update for PSVR 2 won't take too long to come out, and if we can automatically upscale all of the PSVR 2 library, because there are some games that would really benefit from that. I think that's quite an exciting prospect. And it generally just makes the VR better in other ways that I can't really imagine yet, which just allows the developer to push things even further. Then that's quite exciting. PSVR 2 Pro, they can call it, when the patch launches.
I mean, people are rumouring that. People are having rumours the fact that there's a PSVR 2 Pro on the horizon as well, and I really don't know what those people are sniffing. Like,
well, because there was a thing, wasn't there, when they did the new dashboard with the welcome thing, and there was a symbol where it showed like a battery thing, and surely they've just a mock-up, and someone's like, hold on.
No, I think it is the actual headset, but I think it's for the Sense controllers rather than for the headset itself. So I think it's just rather than putting, I don't know, but yeah, I mean, if you think you're getting a PSVR 2 Pro anytime soon, then I don't know what planet you're living on.
I mean, it would be fucking audacious of Sony to sell it.
Yeah.
We've kind of given up in some way on PSVR 2, but we're giving you a PSVR 2 Pro anymore.
Yeah, if you want to go and spend £2,000 on this headset, then knock yourself out. You're not getting any games for it, but it will be wireless.
But
you play Walkabout mini golf in the best fidelity you can imagine.
Exactly. I mean, it's like I've always said though, with the PSVR 2, the way it's going at the moment is exactly how the PSVR 1 was. This is no different to what PSVR 1 users have experienced before. So it's kind of like I'm still getting games coming on the system, so it's fine by me.
Yeah, and I do hold out hope that Sony are not just being weird, not talking about what they're developing. So we don't know anything that they're developing on VR. We don't know what they're developing full stop. They're fucking weird. They haven't told us anything. Like
they are quiet.
So weirdly secretive this generation, and nobody likes it, but they don't seem to give a shit. So, and when I say nobody likes it, like the people that chat about on social media and like us and stuff, but normal consumers are buying it in a drove, so they're probably like, fuck it, like let everyone get stressed out about not knowing what's coming, because people are still buying it to play Fortnite and GTA and everything on. So
they're the people that spend the money and don't care. So
exactly.
Okay, well, that's coming out on the something of November, isn't it?
7th
of November, week before Assassin's Creed.
2 days before my birthday.
Woohoo! Yes, definitely. One, you idiot.
Yeah, Heel Cave.
And pre-orders on the 26th of September, if anyone wants that.
Yeah, it's 26th of September on PlayStation only. I think PS Direct's 26th September, and then 10th of October at other retailers.
Okay.
Okay, so they are doing pre-orders at other retailers, not like how they did the PSVR2's thing, which kind of was a
that's good because I've got like a work discount thing that I can use at Argos and Curry. So I was like, okay, I'll pre-order it from there, and then that'll save me like 50 quid. So I would have been really annoyed if it was just another only direct from PlayStation thing. Yeah,
nice.
Well, that's good. That's a relief. Cool. Well, I'm sure we'll be giving our thoughts on that in the weeks. Alex can definitely tell us what he thinks of it when he gets his in early November. Cool. Well, let's move on to the other news then. Unless you two have any final thoughts you want to make about PS5 Pro.
No.
Nah.
Good. Okay, well, a surprise port that's coming to VR this week is Human Fall Flat, which seems to caught everyone by surprise because that wasn't a VR game, obviously, previously. It's previously come out on flat, and I don't think it's one that people expected to be converted to VR. So, Alex, I believe you've played the game. Can you describe what you do other than fall flat in that game?
It's like, basically, you're this little white guy, and it's all those, what's the mechanics they call it when you're like, a bit... Ragdoll mechanics, yeah. It's almost like, and you're working through all these different puzzle levels, so like you need to move things to kind of get from A to B, and you need to just get to like a door to exit type thing, and it's all about kind of using your hands to drag things over and bits and pieces like that. So it's a fairly fun game, quite daft. It's all about the different situations you send you and you fall flat. So if you don't move quite right, you just collapse over in front of yourself. It's a long time ago I played it, but it's alright. I mean, it's not a game I would be like, oh my god, I loved it or anything, but it's fine.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah,
It's alright.
It's coming to every platform as well, isn't it?
Do we know when that's coming?
I don't think they announced. They just said soon.
Yeah. I didn't see any date. All I read into was after I found out that it was based off of a mod that somebody made, Reku Parter. Sorry, apologies if I pronounced that wrong. Probably did. But yeah, he's a mod that he originally made, and he got bought out, basically, is my understanding. And then they've said we're making a full-on game for it. So cool that a developer got inspired by somebody's mod to actually want to take hold. And yeah,
that is pretty cool. Yeah, someone modded it, and then is it like the flat to VR people, like people that just mod games, and then the developers are like, yeah, go on then.
Yeah,
crack on.
I mean, you say that he is one of the ones who did the mod originally for Trombone Champ, which we now know is coming to PSVR 2 and all that lot, Quest, PC, and that is from flat to VR, but I believe he's actually working on that one with them as a developer as well. So yeah, so it does seem like, when people do these really obscure mods for games, sometimes the devs might be like, oh, that's a great idea, why didn't we think of that? So you got to love the modding community.
Yeah, these clever people out there.
They certainly have their place, particularly in the VR space. Like, I think there's so many great mods out there for VR games, particularly on PC, obviously. So hopefully, long may it continue.
Well,
maybe not people buying up their mods unless that's what they want, but yeah.
Well, that's Human Fall Flat coming soon, Monday perhaps. And next up on the news, we've got Pistol Whip. It should be added this month to PS Plus Premium. So that's good to see that the PS Plus Premium library is now expanding. It's getting quite robust now, isn't it? Quite a lot of games on there.
Yeah, there's some good ones on there for sure.
Yeah, and as we keep saying, if you are the sort of really keen, invested Sony ecosystem person, you're probably on PS Plus, you're probably on PS Plus Premium. And so you think, I've got quite a few games now. I'd quite like to play these somewhere. So it's worth picking up the headset. You don't have to buy any games with the headset now. You've got a good half dozen or so games you can just jump straight into. You've probably already got GT7 as well, so jump into that as well. So yeah, it's a pretty nice setup for people buying into the ecosystem now on day one. Lots to play there.
I'm going to say that you can finally play it, Laurie, but I don't think you have PS Plus Premium, so still not play this cracker of a game.
Yeah, certainly not PS Plus Premium. I'm not too rich. That's a bit too rich for me. Yeah.
You can get PS5.
Save my money. Save my money for the Pro.
You can get the Premium when you get the Pro. You can get both at the same time. Just really spread your work.
Yeah, well, that's literally like Sony. I think to myself, well, if that's going to be that much, I won't sign up for PS Plus, and that'll save me £100 for the year.
Yeah, that's true.
Pay for it. Yeah, and then over 3 years, that's paid for it. There we go. Justified it to myself. Boom. Also, cancel the Game Pass. That'll save me another £100.
He's really thought this through, hasn't he? He is really. He's just sitting there with a pad and pen, just like going through deductions and all that.
I want to audit that spreadsheet.
But you're not cancelling that, you idiot. Good. Anyway, PS Plus. Arizona Sunshine has got a lot of previews for its remake, and it's looking very, very positive, which is cool. It comes out on October the 17th, so not too long to wait there. But Reece, I'm assuming you
I've played the first one, yeah.
And the second one, you played them both?
I played the second one, yeah. I prefer the first one still, to be fair. I just prefer the. I don't know. I think maybe it's because it's one of the earlier VR games I played. It still has that imprint, and it's one that I played co-op with a friend at the time. And even back then, there was like glitches of it, but they were quite humorous. And so I'm hoping some of them still remain in because they did add that level of humor to the multiplayer. But no, it's always been a really fun game. It's one I've played multiple times through, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. And I believe me and Alex are gonna jump in and stream this when it comes out.
How long is the campaign on the first one?
Somewhere between 3 and 5 hours, I'd say. It depends.
Shorter than
if you know what you're doing, you could probably do it in about 2. But you also have the DLC coming along with it as well, and they add on an extra about 30 minutes to an hour, if I remember right. This is off the top of my head from many years back. I remember it lasting quite a bit of time, and like I said, I've played for it again a good few times.
I do like the second one. It is a very interesting game. It's not really a me sort of game. It is a bit too shooty, quite stressful sort of game because always tend to get a bit overwhelmed with the whole reloading and trying to shoot stuff. But it is fun. It is very well made. I think it's a very good game. It's just not so much a me game, so I haven't finished it yet.
Yeah, I'm going through the second one on the hardest difficulty at the moment, and every time I get to one bit, like I'm on the motel part, and you have to obviously mow down all the zombies there, and on the hardest difficulty, for some reason, when it's loading me back in, I've lost my pistol, and all I have is one gun, so I'm like, great, I have no backup ammo whatsoever, so I just keep dying, so I think I'm going to have to just cancel out and just restart and play through again on a lower difficulty, because there's no way I'm killing all the zombies with just one gun with the minimal amount of ammo.
Is that the bit where around the pool?
It's
hard, that bit. Yeah, that was hard.
I don't know what's happened to my weapons. I don't know what's happened to them, but yeah, my pistols went. The gun I had on the back of the dog at the time has now gone. Just all I have is the assault rifle and 3 mags, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm not getting through this no matter how hard I try. It's not happening.
Well, the first one it's looking good, and the Upload VR's previews of it said I like really how it just shows how much VR's come along since this game first came out. I think in 2017 or something.
Yeah, it was a very early release.
And they were saying they're kind of adopting all of the conventions and all the VR sort of things that we now take for granted that you find in the second one. They've gone back and put them all into this first game, and they've basically remade it from the ground up to have all of that quality of life improvement. So it's, in one way, it's crazy that they are remaking a game that's only a few years old, but it's also great that the medium's moved on so fast in such a short space of time that games that did come out back then are quite hard to play now. And so it's quite straightforward for them to update it and make it a much more pleasant, enjoyable game to play. So good on them.
Really looking forward to playing that again. Really looking forward to it.
Yeah. And I think to that point, you're in a different marketplace with VR as you are to like things like The Last of Us getting remade and stuff in ridiculously short periods of time, because if you compare probably the amount of people playing VR now to the amount of people playing in 2017, it's probably like exponentially larger. So you've got a whole new market to bring this game back out into, and then they have been quite generous in the upgrade paths and stuff for the game as well, given how much of a remake that it is. So if you do, there are much.
Quest wasn't even around then, was it?
I believe it was Oculus back then.
Sorry, Alex, I interrupted you there. You're talking on the upgrade path.
Yeah, no, all I was going to say is like I think we're about £4 if you own the first one in PlayStation. I think it is for the upgrade, so it's
like $9.99, wasn't it? So maybe like £6-7 or something like that. Something along those lines. It's cheap no matter what. It's definitely worth it. It's one game that I still say to people like, oh yeah, back when I played this game, and I still remember everything from it. It's just, it's ingrained in my memory now.
Cool.
Looking forward to it though.
Should enjoy watching you two streaming it.
Yep, that's the plan.
We're going to do it this time.
Yeah, we're definitely going to do it. We keep saying it, but this is the one game where we've like, okay, this is one that we could probably do across one stream or 2 streams. So yeah, we're definitely going to do it.
Yeah, we're quite a comical stream because like it'll be just like Reece carrying Alex the whole way through.
Come on, Alex.
How dare you?
Stop picking up all the ducks. There's no reason for those. I hope because there was collectible ducks on the first one, so I'm hoping they remain there, because I just feel like Alex, there's a duck over here, but I never found that one. Like, he'll hunt all the collectibles down. I'm going to be on duck duty. You get the zombies, I'll get the ducks.
I'll play duck hunt.
Yeah, so no, I'm
like
looking forward to that.
Walkabout mini golf, looking for the golf balls.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
Alex's. Cool. Okay, well, I'm sure we'll be talking about that in October as well. So PSN charts, every month we get the update as to what were the best selling games that we have on the system, and for August it was topped by Beat Saber, and/or Swordsman VR, depending on where you are in the world. So not a very exciting month that month. Was Swordsman, was that on sale, presumably?
Yeah, I think it was in deep discount at one point. Yeah.
It's just their Beat Saber is just always there. It's always, and there was,
Yeah.
they were 1 and 2 in Europe, EU, and then the other way around in the US. But they were both the top 2 games in both regions, just the other way around in each region. So yeah, not too much to say about that really. Beat Saber still there. Would
One of
always
these
be there.
months it'll be Master Night.
Well,
You
if they do themselves a
cry,
massive
wouldn't
sale.
ya?
I'd be so
cry when
proud of them.
Yeah.
Well, maybe they
Exactly.
should do like one of those 90% sales that everyone else jumped onto the bandwagon to do, and then
VR Kiwi
People
did
buy
it on PlayStation, didn't they? They put a lot of their games on sale. Or I say a lot of them, it was pretty much all of them, and they were like down to like £1.20 or £2, things like that. And I think loads of people picked those up.
well, next up, Hitman 3. Sadly, their devs had to issue the statement, the thing that we're used to seeing now when games don't launch in the state that people want them in. Basically, like agreeing, acknowledging that the game state had launched. But they do promise they are going to keep working on it. They're going to keep patching it. And to be fair, we've seen this a lot of games in the past where devs have gone back and enhanced it and made it a lot better.
Yeah.
And then they're worth our checking out. So it looks like it's one of those ones where it's like, right, keep it on the shelf for now. And then when they come back and say, all right, here's the patch, here's its drop, then that'll be the time to check it out. And if you look at things like Switchback, then these games can definitely turn around and be worth playing.
Yeah. And there's definitely that. I mean, I played it after the day 4 patch now. I went back to it. I still awkwardly, like, sometimes want to jump in again and play it just because it's quite fun to hit somebody over the head with a wrench on it. Just the donk noise on it is probably that right there is what it's worth for. It's just the donk when you hit somebody over the head with something. But yeah, there's just so many with it. There's just, it ruins that experience so many times. But when it works right, you do get that Hitman experience. But no, there's definitely it needed more time to cook. Definitely.
I mean, yeah, Foglands. That's another example. A game that
They did really well to turn that around.
Much improved compared to where it launched. So credit to developers there as well. But maybe they should bring it across to PSVR 2 because they got a bit of extra power to just help deliver their vision for that one.
Yeah, no, definitely.
You just wonder what drives. I mean, there's no way on this earth that these guys don't know the states these games are coming out in. Like, I'm sorry, but anybody could have played that game and seen straight away that it was going to get absolutely slated.
Yeah.
What's driven the decision to release it? Like, there must be something somewhere that's driving these guys. Like, I know for some it is basically they need to get the money. They need to get the games out there to get the money and to fund improving it. I know for some of the smaller studios, but the number of games that this studio is working on at the same time, and it's in partnership with IOI, so surely you hope there is some sort of budget that they could have pushed it a little bit of time just to get it out in a much better state. Like, there must be something driving these things, and whether it was that desire to get it out before, because we know everything's coming October, November, December. You've got the big games coming, they maybe just wanted it ahead of them, but
yeah, probably.
it's just they've shot themselves in the foot.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good shout because it is a good window. If it had been in a good state, it would have had a good play of space to itself, really. There was no other big games I can think of.
Yeah. No, I mean, it is one of the games I definitely want to talk more about because there is some stuff I have enjoyed with it. But obviously with so many of the bad things as well, it's kind of like it does outweigh it. It's a shame because there is some things to enjoy with it. But yeah, maybe we'll dedicate some time to that at some point. Yes, possibly.
No comment. Okay, well, whilst talking to Quest, and we've had some more images leaked for the Quest. I feel like this thing has been fully revealed now because it's in so many. Everyone seems to know all the specs inside it, and we know exactly what it looks like. It's weird that they still haven't done a reveal. I know they presumably want to hold it and do a full reveal at MetaConnect in a few weeks' time. But surely I don't know. Maybe the mass market people aren't that connected to all this other stuff, and it'll be a surprise for some people, I guess. But yeah, I mean, it looks like everything that people were expecting. So I wonder what the price for that will be. Do we know that as well already? Probably.
Nah. I mean, I feel like if they did it somewhere between the price of $250 and $350, they'd get some people buying it that haven't upgraded to the Quest 3. But obviously, if they did it for 400, people probably just punch out the extra 70 and go for the Quest 3.
Well, this is it, isn't it? It's a funny one to price.
I think where I've seen it rumored that is about $350.
Yeah.
So probably about £300, maybe. Well, maybe. Actually, who knows? In dollars and pounds these days, it might be £350.
Yeah. What is going on with these conversion rates? I'm sorry.
Well, yeah, our Sony.
It's, yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
But it would be kind of like a Series S and Series X kind of thing.
Yeah,
won't
exactly.
it? Like, that's
Yeah.
got quite a big price differential on those, haven't they? So, and they say if it's too close, you might as well just get the full fat one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly that.
They're not going to want to put it too much higher than what the Quest 2 price was, because that's the customer they want to get. Those ones that've got a Quest 2 that's either the Quest 3's out with their price range, but they would upgrade to the 3S, particularly with things like if it can. I'm assuming I'd be shocked if it's not going to be able to run Batman, but it's a Quest 3 exclusive. Surely these Quest 3 exclusives are going to have to run in the 3S.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll have to do some sort of Quest 3 version, Quest 3S, like downgrade slightly. But we'll see. I'm intrigued. That's for sure.
Well, not long to wait, and we should find out more about it, including the price.
Laurie can pick one up and give us his thoughts on that.
Well, yeah, I mean, it may be, but Sony have taken all my money now, so maybe it's all I can afford is a 3S. And depending on where the price is, then yeah, maybe it is more of an impulse buy than the full fat 3 is. But that'd be interesting because you said that if unveiled, it's going to be released October, November, and if they do some pretty aggressive Black Friday deals on the Quest 3, that again might be awkward, wouldn't it? Because then that might bring them quite close together for a period.
Maybe
Yeah,
they'll do a
exactly.
Batman version.
It's a limited edition Batman Quest 3.
A Batman sort of case strap thing that's like an entire cowl that you can put over with the goggles on. Make
And
yourself
it's
feel like Batman.
it's got the bat signal on the front.
Okay, cool.
Projects it onto the wall.
Where do I pre-order?
Yeah, someone will get Kiwi to make it, and someone can make a custom one.
That's got to happen. Damn, I want
Cool.
that now.
Well, I'm sure we'll be covering that in the next couple of weeks because that we'll cover everything that comes out at Meta Connect on the 25th and 26th of September, which is very soon, next week. Next up, Hellsweeper update. Reece, you been playing Hellsweeper? You're a fan of Hellsweeper? It sounds like a game that you should be playing.
I like it,
Yeah?
but I haven't played any of it recently, no.
Okay, well, you may be playing some more of it soon because they've just revealed a whole new update roadmap coming for the next year or so. Plenty of new content and stuff, which is cool. I mean, I like it when developers do this, especially for older games, because it just gives people a reason to keep it installed on their machines. So obviously they've already done a few big updates this year. In September, they're doing a big update, adding some new weapons and bosses and stuff and powers and things. And then there's another one coming at the end of the year or the start of next year with a new game mode, some more mini bosses and things. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
I mean,
Nice.
this was your prime example, Laurie, of the game that launched broken, and look at it
Yeah.
now. Like, it's become. I mean, a lot of people really rate this game in terms of like right high up there and one of the best that you can play, given how much they've improved it over time. And it's your shining example of that game that launched broken or almost broken and is now like really
You played it as well,
excelling.
didn't you, for us?
At the beginning, yeah. Like
Yeah.
I played it when it launched, and it wasn't great, and it wasn't a great experience. But like since they've added all the bells and whistles, it's just so much better.
Little bit of thing just to highlight to everyone is that Max Mustard is now on the PlayStation Store, available to pre-order. And if you pre-order it now, and if you have PS Plus, unlike me, you will get a 70% discount for it. What Alex and Reece have been saying, you are definitely going to want to buy this one, so you may as well get it with a 17% discount if you pre-order it now.
Definitely worth it.
And that pre-order price is right up to the day before it launches as well. No rush.
Gives you some time.
Yeah, but it's got a few weeks yet to do that, but it's worth checking out. Lovely.
Certainly.
Lovely. Let's move on to what we've been playing. Who would like to go first? Alex, do you want to start for us?
I can do.
Yeah, go on.
I'll start with Walkabout Mini Golf, and because it's that 6-week cycle is here again, so we've got the new course, Mars Gardens, released this week, and it's excellent. Like, Wallace and Gromit was going to be a huge shoes to follow. You know what I mean? It was certainly going to be a hard act to follow, given how good Wallace and Gromit was. But what essentially Mighty Coconut have done is just go back to basics with this one. I mean, it's Mars Gardens makes you think this really futuristic spacey thing, and it's not. It's basically like almost like a school or a kind of garden. Like it's like a school on Mars, and it's all in this like big dome, and you can turn gravity on and off to add a little bit of like challenge and stuff to it. But it's very much back to that really nice traditional skill based game, like the physics of it, and you're like, you know where you need to aim, and it's a wee bit more precise of the holes and stuff like that. There's a level of verticality in it that I don't really feel like I've seen in some of the holes before. Like you're trying to get up different levels a bit more. It's excellent. Like, it's exactly what we expect now from Walkabout Mini Golf. We just know they're going to give you a good course every 6 weeks, and you're never disappointed.
Nice. I don't think it'll be Wallace and Gromit for me. Nothing will.
And I think that's and that's the thing. I think they've not tried to.
Yeah, exactly.
Like they've gone
It went
back
back to their normal, yeah. Yeah.
I think if they'd gone and tried to do something a bit different again or a bit special again, it was just like immediately after Wallace and Gromit, that could have been a bit of a...
Yeah, it'll be an instant comparison.
Yeah. But they've definitely taken the right move, and I think anyone will enjoy it. It's the same as you always enjoy a Walkabout Mini Golf course. We look forward to these every 6 weeks, and they never fail to.
It still amazes me how they manage to churn these out every 6 weeks. Like, it just, surprises me every time how they do that. That's dedication right there.
Yeah, they've got a decent pipeline, for sure. Cool. Well, we've all been playing a few games. There's been a few games that have been come out of nowhere this week, really. They've been revealed, or the release date's been revealed for it, and they've just dropped straight away. So we've all been playing a couple of games, Dead Second and No Scout. So let's do Dead Second first. Dead Second. Reece, I feel like this is your wheelhouse to be able to talk about.
I really, really enjoyed this one.
Yeah.
It's similar to like Time Crisis. I'd compare it to, and only people that have played Quest will really know this one. Alex will know this one, but I compare it a bit to Undercover. The way it kind of works just without the co-op features, without bosses and time attacks and things like that. It's a very basic point-to-point cover shooter. It's like an arcadey feel. There's no free movement. It's all teleport to the points to cover, which is like a crouch position or standing behind something and leaning out. And yeah, I really, really enjoyed it. The slow motion really amps up the adrenaline, just really kicks in when you're having the times that everyone's shooting at you and you're dodging the bullets. Like when the slow motion kicks in, that happens. It genuinely feels like you're in the Matrix because the way you dodge and you kind of do move your whole body back, which I'm not going to do now because that would just look stupid. But no, absolute blast. There's quite a lot to do within the game, even though it's quite short. And when I say short, there's 8 levels, and if you're just going through on those, you're going to complete it within about an hour to an hour and a half. And then if you don't plan on playing on the medium to harder difficulties, that's pretty much it. Your game time, it's only going to be about an hour. So I would say this for people that do want some challenges, they're amping up. There's things for you to get as well while you're playing it as well, such as gloves, new weapons, and then there's a ton of leaderboards. So it's if you're a person that likes chasing leaderboards, you're going to have a good time with those as well. But no, yeah. I've had a good time.
I did the first level and I checked at the leaderboards once I finished it, and then Games with T, there you are, way above me. It's like, for fuck's sake, can you not just give me one leaderboard, guys?
Yeah.
Also,
it's usually Alex. Usually Alex is above me on every single leaderboard, so it's nice that I'm actually on one this time.
You clearly haven't played it yet. I got in there before you did.
Exactly.
But yeah, £12 this game, which I think is a really good price for it. That's such a well priced position.
I think
point.
For the replayability there is as well, I think that's a fair price to ask.
Yeah, it's like £12 nothing. It's like,
it's well worth it. I mean, I played it this morning, and it's just so simple to jump in and out of. It's just that easy replayability, as you say. Like, your leaderboards is going to be what's going to make this kind of game, because if you've got a few friends that you're just trying to challenge and wind up, like sharing your scores, it's very, very good. And it's not reinventing the wheel in any way, shape or form, but it does what it does and what it sets out to do well. And that's what you want in this kind of game.
Yep.
I love the Time Crisis. You just point down to reload, and it kind of, I'm sure you feel like the same sort of haptic, like the guns in the arcade used to. It feels so arcadey.
I did it as a manual reloading instead.
Of course you did.
It's a bit similar to, in some senses, a bit similar to like Zombieland, where you slide down on the analog and then you pull a clip out from your back and you reload. It's a bit similar to like a mixture of Half-Life Alyx and Zombieland reloading. And I love doing it that way. I thought it was really cool, especially when you're like crouching down on the floor, dodging all these bullets, and you're trying to get this magazine from over your back. And really added to that level of it.
Maybe this should be a good candidate for VR the Champions 1 week.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I think so.
So Reece can win one.
I don't want to win them.
But yeah, no, I also agree. Really, really good game. Really fun. Pretty simple. It's not the deepest game. There doesn't seem to be any plot, is there? It's just, there's no plot at all.
No, not really any plot.
You're just going through these alleyways and things, just shooting people. Warehouses, alleyways, typical.
Sewers,
urban.
office buildings. Yeah, those type of things. So yeah,
Yeah.
gets my seal of approval, definitely.
Yeah, for what it is, stamp of approval. Boom.
Absolutely.
Easy. Okay, let's move on to Snow Scout then, which is a very different game. Alex, why don't you tell you this one? I think you've played the most of it.
Yeah, so Snow Scout is it's a hard one to describe because it depends how you play it, what type of game it is. But it's essentially a narrative-focused game where you are like this snow scout on a ski resort, and it's up to you to basically make sure that this ski resort is functioning before you open for the season. That's kind of premise to the story. And I think the best way is I can describe it as like Firewatch with skiing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it sounds pretty bizarre, but essentially it's you and this other person talking to you through a walkie-talkie, and you need to like respond to them through like 1 click for yes and 2 clicks for no, and you're kind of doing what they're asking you to do, and you need to go and open up the slopes, and then as you open the slopes, that's where, depending on how you want to play the game, it kind of changes, because when you open the slopes you can go and then ski the slope, and it's all leaderboards and time trials and who can get down the slope the fastest and things like that. So that's a different type of game in itself. Like, so you can play it just the narrative bit and ignore all the skiing, or you can do all the skiing and be there to like, and it's quite involved. Like, it's almost kind of like VR skater-esque in terms of like, you are, well, depending again what mode you want to play, you can be very passive in it and you're just steering, or you can be proper like getting the poles and giving it a bit of wheelie and trying to build up some speed and in and out to do your plough to slow down and stuff at the bottom. But I've really liked this. I'm not going to lie, there's a little bit of jank to it, like some of the bits and pieces you get to, like there's some digging in that you need to do, and you're like, right, I can probably have some choices here could have made this a little bit easier.
More tedious than it needs to be. Someone that thinks the digging, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
But in terms of the overall package of this game, I'm really impressed. I think it's really well done. I think it's a nice story. I think it's just a nice atmosphere, and it's different things, like you're going and like you're like bird watching as you're going through, you're picking up the rubbish to tidy up the slopes and things like that, and it's just, it very much sets the atmosphere right to enjoy the game, and you can jump in and out the chapters in the days. So it's set up like you have so many things you need to do in a day, and you go and like light a fire to end the day and go to bed, and you can just leave it there and then go and do the next day, like the next day or whenever you want. And this is from Tuner Max, who made Rainbow Reactor Fusion Remastered. Did I get that right? I never get the title of that right.
Which I really right.
Something like that. But
maybe.
I mean, you can see the similarities in it because they've got little things like when you were doing that Rainbow Reactor, you had the little videos that were made within the factory and go around the factory and stuff, and like you can see the similarities in the studio, but it's a very, very different game, and this is much more an exploration type game. And yeah, I'm really impressed. I think it's really good, minus the jank. And some games are just going to have that jank, but I think for this one, I think the good outweighs the jank.
Yeah,
definitely. I'd agree.
I'm not seeing there's too much. I don't think there's too much jank for a VR game. A little tip as well: you can choose if you want to do ski. You have to put your hands out and just like really like push forward with your skis. It's quite a physical motion to get going. You can, and when I was doing it, sometimes it wasn't registering. So I was like, come on, get going. It's first like you're sort of trying to start a motor or something. You sort of put in the it's like you're trying a few times to get it to go. But you can make it a more casual mode where you just push forward on the sticks. But that does kind of break the immersion a little bit. But what I found with this, if you have the casual mode on, it still does work, but you put the sticks into the ground as well. So I think if you have that mode, you can kind of have that as kind of a backup. So if you can do the motion, if it doesn't work, you can just use the sticks anyway to push off. So you still have the feeling that you are skiing, but you don't get the frustration of it not registering the push-offs and stuff. So yeah, I really like the ski. I think the feeling is really good. It's something that obviously I've never done skiing in a game before. I can't think of any skiing games that I've ever played non-VR either. So it's a really fun thing to do, and to have that skiing simulator, I think it is really cool.
Yeah, I've enjoyed what I've played. I mean, not as far as Alex. I think I'm partway through the second chapter. And yeah, there is a little bit of jank, but again, it's like Alex says, the good does definitely outweigh it. So definitely one I'm enjoying. I'm looking forward to going back to it.
When you described it, it's just basically Firewatch for skiing. I was like, okay, that sells it to me a lot more. Yeah, it sells it to me a lot more. And you're right, it is like that. And I was going to ask you, I didn't know, do I have to do skiing? Because I find the slopes, I find them really hard to get through the gates.
No,
some of the turns you have to do, they're like really, I'm never able to make those gates. And it's quite frustrating if you miss a gate there needs to just be a button to restart instantly, because you have to go to the bottom and then make your way back up the top and then go down again. And like, I mean, realistic, I guess, but it's quite tedious. And I like when you go on the ski lifts, you can just press a button just to skip straight to the top. But there should just be a way to, you know, if you're mid slope and you fail it, just give me a button to push to restart instantly, so I can have another go at it without having to make my way back up the top, because that's just quite tedious, especially when you're first starting off. Like whilst you're getting the hang of the mechanics, it feels quite punishing. But if I don't need to do skiing at all, I'll be like, oh, well, I'll just leave it. I'll just do the concentrate on the story.
Yeah, you don't.
But
you
you
don't
get a
need to do
trophy.
it.
So I don't need to do it at all.
No, you don't, unless you want a trophy.
But it is very far. And it knows it's very far, even at the beginning, where she's like, yeah, I'm looking at you through this telescope on this mountain, as she blinks on the mountain. That's exactly the same thing happens in Firewatch. So it knows what it's doing. And Vereni, the lady who's talking to you, you know, she's very well voice acted. She's very, again, just like in Firewatch, where they needs to be well acted, because you're listening to that person a lot. It's quite, it made me laugh the way they do get around the narrative. It's just like, oh, yeah, you've taken the vow of silence, haven't you? It's like,
Yeah.
no.
No, you just couldn't afford another voice actor, so I have taken the other sites for that reason. Yeah, I did find it funny as well when she goes, "I can see you," and I'm blinking on she's got the blinker on the mountain, and I was looking, I was like, where is she? I can't see this blinker. I couldn't find it.
No, I
was
saw it.
Am I going blind? Like, I'm glad one of us saw it though.
It was very
glad
small.
I'm glad it wasn't just me, because I was like looking, I was like, if I got to really find this figure before it progresses, and no, eventually she's like, I can see you waving, wave back, and I'm like,
I was doing hello. So do you know how long it takes, Alex, to how long to beat?
I'm not sure, but I think it's maybe about 3 or 4 hours. I don't think it depends how much completionist you want to be, because if you want to find all the birds in the plant, the rubbish and the ski slopes, but I think you could probably do maybe 4 hours, I would say, if I had to guess.
Yeah.
Sounds accurate for a VR game these days.
And obviously Firewatch had quite the narrative in that became almost a sort of murder mystery without spoiling anything. It was quite deep, and there was some secrets and a mystery to unveil. Does this have anything in the way of that, or is it just you're hearing some nice backstory to Brenny?
I think there might be a little bit of it as you start to get through, without spoiling it. I think there's some more stuff to come.
Yeah, okay. Well, don't spoil it. Just is there something there to?
The trailer made it sound like there was something more there than just an exploration narrative. It did make it sound like there was something that's gonna happen. So yeah.
Well, that definitely makes me want to keep playing. Now I don't have to worry if I mess up a ski slope, I can just. Cause it's nice to I have a run on it, but if I screw it up, I don't need to keep persevering at it. So that's good to know. And if there is more of a narrative thing, I'm all for these narrative VR games, so I shall stick with it. Lovely. Well, they're the 2 games I've played this week. Has anyone else played anything?
Yes, I have played Crimen, the Mercenary's Towels, which was another surprise port. It just came out of the middle of nowhere. I like the art style. I like the whole idea of having these various different stories that are kind of blown out of proportion to make it sound like these really cool things that happen. Like on the second level, there's like a vampire-esque demon thing attacking you and stuff like that. But sadly, it's filled with a lot of jank and issues that made it very difficult for me to want to play, and it did become very frustrating while playing it.
Yeah,
I didn't notice these issues at first. So on the first level, it gets you to slash certain circles in a certain angle, so you have to go in with the angle that has the triangle on it. So at first I was like, okay, that's not working, and then I sliced a bit harder and it works. So I was like, okay, maybe it's got to have more forks behind it. This then became apparent that later on that it didn't really matter what force I had behind it, it just didn't want to work. And you have to do it for the second level's boss. And it just, I was literally slicing these things. I was like, why isn't this working? Like it became very frustrating. So I have asked them if there's going to be any patches to kind of fix that, because from what I've played so far, it may not be for everyone, but I have kind of liked the art style and the blown portion of the stories. And it's definitely something I think I would play to completion. But sadly, with them frustrating game mechanics, which are mechanics that you have to use all the time, it just makes it not enjoyable to play, because you're instantly going, why isn't this working? You're kind of either battling with yourself going, am I doing it wrong? And then you're battling with the game going, no, this is wrong. And it's like, it just got a bit tiring. So I quickly turned it off and rage quit on the second level. And then when I calmed down, I was like, I'll go back to it. And it threw me back to the beginning of the level. So I instantly turned it back off.
Yeah. No, I I played it as well, and I agree, and I didn't get past the first level. I found, like, as I was getting further and further into the first level, like when you were just trying to hit and slice to take out enemies, and it just wasn't registering that you were hitting. It's like the sword was moving, but it was just going like right through the enemies. It was like nothing was happening, and it was just by that time it was just frustrating. And I liked the idea of it. And I mean, any game that lets you slap a donkey's ass, like, that's fun.
And give you a trophy for it.
Give you a
as well.
trophy for it. Yeah, I mean, but you keep doing it. It's like, are you going to keep doing that? And it talks back to you as you're slapping this donkey's ass, and you're like, that's just.
Yeah.
But it's
silly.
so frustrating, and I think it's silly. And I think if the game worked in the way it's supposed to work, and all the combat mechanics worked in the way they were supposed to, I think it'd be a very enjoyable game. I did also think it was very framey at points. I don't tend to be one of the people that notices that as much, but when I'm noticing it, it must be quite bad.
Yeah, there was some popping. Definitely, there was some popping on some parts. Yeah, for sure.
It needs a wee bit of TLC, but I think there's a decent game there if they can get it working as intended.
Yeah. Another game that I play that also needs a little bit of TLC is Chernobyl again, or Chernobyl again. I pronounced that right. I always pronounce Chernobyl wrong. Anyways, this is the first game I've played where my hand got stuck in a drawer to the point where I couldn't get the hand out of the drawer, and I was like, what is going on here? And that was just on the tutorial.
See, that's the jaw track.
And this is yeah, exactly. And it's like, it starts off and it goes, you need to put these different images in the projector. I was like, okay, cool. And I was trying to take one out of the projector and it wasn't working. I was like, come on, why is this not? I was constantly trying to take this image out of the projector, wasn't working. And eventually got it out of there with much jank, and my hand got stuck in the projector and everything like that. And I was like, and the disappointing thing about this one is this was one I was actually really excited to play, because the whole event of Chernobyl and if everything that happened, I feel like it's going to be a very interesting game to play with a story made around it, and seeing it all like you're actually there as it's unfolding or as you're trying to stop it unfolding. I think it's a really interesting concept, and I think they've got the concept, but sadly the execution at least on the PSVR 2 version, I've not played it on PC or Quest, so I don't know if they're any better. It doesn't work that great, so it definitely needs some more TLC, a couple more patches to fix the issues that it's having. And then I'll dive back into that one. And
so that one is £25 on PSN Store, which is quite a lot, isn't it? And just to go back,
Chernobyl, yeah, or Crimen?
Chernobyl again. No, Chernobyl is £25. Crimen is £20, and then we did mention before, but Snow Scout is £16. Which
definitely the best value. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Just if anyone's wondering about price there, So £25 for Chernobyl again. That's just in quite a lot.
And I did play one more game that I wanted to mention, and that was Last Mech Standing. And this is kind of like a wave-based roguelike shooter that's available on Quest and PC VR. Obviously, in roguelike fashion, when you die, you go back to your base and you have to buy different weapons, which you upgrade by using condensed. They call them behemoths. You have to use their condensed blood to make different upgrades for your mech, which is, they've got someone talking it all through to you and everything like that. Some of the mechanics are quite cool. Some of the stuff, I was like, don't do that. It's like if you step forward a little bit, it kind of fades to black, and I was like, you've ruined my immersion instantly. So there were some things that definitely need to be fixed. But what I played, I didn't mind too much as like a quick jump in, jump out, wave-based shooter with a cool sword. The music's pretty nice as well, but I did have like a solid 5 minutes of myself just dancing to that. But the developer has also been really kind enough to supply us with some keys to give away as well. So if anybody does want to enter into winning that, to give the game a go yourself, we have some for Quest and some for PC VR. So just subscribe to the channel, like the video, and leave a comment with what platform you would like it on. Yes?
I've seen someone said a week off to play games, eh?
Yeah. I mean, I've played more, but I can't mention some of them until... I say some of them. There's one that I can't mention until next week. And yeah, you're gonna have to cut off about at least 10, 20 minutes for me to talk about that one next week. No, we're doing a snap for that one. Never mind.
Yes.
We knew I was just not going to shut up about it. So
nice. So, well, yeah, I mean, it's been nice to play, because I wasn't a few weeks ago. I was like, I don't know what we're going to play in the next few weeks. There's not been many new releases, but yeah, a load of surprise games came out. And of that, for me, Snow Scout will be the pick of the bunch. I mean, anything narrative led is going to be the one that would be the one I pick. But yeah, also can quite impressed with Dead Second as well. So a decent week.
Some hits.
Certainly.
Yeah, a nice week
enough
for
to keep
releases.
you busy.
Well, everyone, thanks again for listening. If you've enjoyed this episode, we'd love it if you could please tell your family and your friends all about us. And if you'd like to get more involved, please don't hesitate to drop into our Discord and say hello. There'll be some links for that in the description for this episode. I think. Thank you for everyone that's joined us there and discussing and jumping in and tell us what games you're playing. It's great to see everyone there. I've been your host, Laurie. These two have been Alex and Reece, and we will see you again next time. Until then, it's goodbye.